Hello and welcome to our thought for the day for Tuesday the 2nd of May. Our reading today is from Deuteronomy chapter 9 starting at verse 23. So Deuteronomy means second law in Hebrew, and it's the book that contains 3 speeches from Moses to the Israelites. And the first of them is when he tells them to think about what God has done for them. The second is when he talks about the principles for godly living, and the third is that they need to have a commitment to God. So I'm going to read from Deuteronomy, starting at chapter 9, verse 23, when I can find my glasses. And when the Lord sent you out from Kadesh Barnea, he said, "Go up and take possession of the land I have given you." But you rebelled against the command of the Lord your God. You did not trust him or obey him. You have been rebellious against the Lord ever since I have known you. I lay prostrate before the Lord those 40 days and 40 nights because the Lord had said he would destroy you. I prayed to the Lord and said, "Sovereign Lord, do not destroy your people, your own inheritance that you redeemed by your great power and brought out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember your servants Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. Overlook the stubbornness of this people, their wickedness and their sin. Otherwise, the country from which you brought us will say, because the Lord was not able to take them into the land he had promised them, and because he hated them, he brought them out to put them to death in the wilderness. But they are your people, your inheritance that you brought out by your great power and your outstretched arm." At that time, the Lord said to me, "Chisel out 2 stone tablets, like the first ones, and come up to me on the mountain. Also make a wooden ark. I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets which you broke. Then you are to put them into the ark." So I made the ark out of acacia wood and chiseled out 2 stone tablets like the first ones and went up the mountain with the 2 tablets in my hands. The Lord wrote on these tablets what he had written before, the 10 commandments he had proclaimed to you on the mountain, out of the fire on the day of the assembly. And the Lord gave them to me. Then I came back down the mountain and put the tablets in the ark I had made, as the Lord commanded me, and they are there now. So I see 2 parts to this reading today. The first is when Moses is reminding the people of their lack of trust in God and the 40 years earlier when they had been afraid to enter the land of Canaan. They did not believe God would help them despite all that he had done for them already. They lacked trust in God, and they really relied and looked upon only their own limited resources. And the second part is about Moses' obedience, once again, to do what God asks of him. He makes the ark, he makes up 2 tablets of stone, he chisels them out of stone, and he takes them up the mountain. And the Lord does as he promises, and he inscribes them for Moses. And Moses brings them back down, and then he places them in the ark. Now on Sunday, Matt was talking about obedience in relation to God's call. It's part of our sermon series on Dietrich Bonhoeffer's discipleship. And he closed the sermon with a challenge to us all, to open our ears to hear God's call to us, and when we hear it, to be obedient to that call, to be willing to trust in God, and to keep ourselves in step with God's will for us. So this reading for me has 2 very simple things for us, and my prayer for us all today is that for each of us, as it says in Proverbs 3, that we will trust in the Lord with all our hearts, and that we'll be obedient to his call on our lives, and that we'll be open to hearing that call. Amen.